What is up, you guys? I hope everybody is doing well. We're here for our Oracle manifestation reading for the week, where we just check in with the things that we want to manifest, and we are looking to see what kind of energy we need to embody for the week to come as it pertains to our manifestations and how we're going about making our goals come true. Our first card is, soulmate relationship. I don't know if you guys, how long have you been following, but do you remember like back a few months ago, it was like several months ago, where like, it was just like, that was the only card we were getting out of any deck. It was just like over and over and over again. And then like, it was just about parent healing and forgiving and learning for a while. And now it's like a soulmate card comes up. So I don't know what happened between then and then, but lots of forgiving and learning have been happening. So maybe we have some, we've shifted the wheel of fortune in our favor. So soulmate relationship, new romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. So if part of what you've been trying to manifest in your life is a healthy soulmate relationship, maybe you've been doing a lot of healing work and self-work that prepares you for that. And maybe, you're getting really in touch with your truest authenticity, your authentic self. And when you're in your native vibration, right? When you're feeling like full of yourself and really happy and, you're connected with the things that light you up and you're really living in an honest way and you're not faking things, or you're not like putting on airs for other people, you're not people pleasing, you're not, putting on facades. It's like, then you're projecting this accurate frequency out to the universe, where it's like your consistent vibe. Like, everybody has like kind of like a smell or whatever. It's like your vibrational smell, right? And so you want to get really clear about what it is that you want in a partner, and you want to also be able to embody that as well. And so the more that you do, the more clear your frequency is going to be as, you're sending out that radio signal to the universe. Now, what draws in that manifestation is your desire. It's the feelings in your heart. It's the feeling of having that. So yeah, maybe, we've been through the last several weeks of Venus, had been in retrograde. We were, having other planets in retrograde where we were just really like reflecting and, thinking back on our relationship dynamics and getting more clear about who we are and who we're becoming, because the North Node shifted into Aries, the South Node of the Moon shifted into Libra. And so that's all about, Aries is all about like the way that we are, our self-image and, how we own ourselves and our identity and how we want to show up in the world. Well, Libra is our relationship with life and with others and with other. And so it's about our interrelational dynamics. Well, if we're up leveling in our sense of self and who we are and what we expect for ourselves in our lives and what we expect of others in our lives, then our partnerships should be up leveling too, because the way that we're showing up and the way that we interact with others is different. And so we are basically, after all of this work that we've been doing at the end of the summer, the whole Rosh Hashanah, new soul, like we're still in the time of Sukkot where we're able to draw in more light that will like turbocharge that soul for the year. We're just kind of going through daily challenges. But it's like those challenges though help you reveal the sparks of light that like reveal all that magical juice that then ends up in your spiritual bank account for the year. Like when you're able to overcome like yourself or your darkness or overcome challenge, right? So as we've been sort of up leveling and getting this more like this different level of consciousness and this kind of awakening and this up leveling, it's like we've been kind of fine tuning our own frequency. And so maybe, now that we're sort of settling into like, not really settling in, but we're beginning on this like new cycle and starting life, in a new way. And we're starting out on a new journey with a new story. It's like, okay, now we want to be in a state where we can really attract that kind of relationship in. And if you're already in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a different partner. It could mean that your relationship improves. So like in Kabbalah, we learned that a soulmate isn't necessarily like one specific person per se, but it is the level of relationship that's higher than just like dating, or like, for instance, there's different levels of relationships from the lens of Kabbalah. There's first mates, which are like people that you date and there's not a lot of depth there. And then there's practice mates, and these are the people who you go out with that you learn the ins and outs of relationship with. And then there are tikkun mates, and we talk about tikkun on this channel, and tikkun is the Hebrew word for basically like karma, is a simplified way to put it, but it's not exactly the same. So, and your tikkun is like basically your soul has assignments for each lifetime that it carries over, and you know, it's the same soul. It's just like you've got different assignments in different lifetimes because you're elevating different parts of yourself. And so the assignments are your tikkun, and they are things about yourself that you need to heal and elevate, and parts like negativity that you need to transform via spiritual alchemy, via overcoming parts of your ego and things like that, and healing those things. But then there are also, you know, people who are destined to come in and, you know, work with us, like our parents, right? And press our buttons, and, you know, we go through learning lessons and things together. And so those tikkun mates are like what we kind of, you know, think of as like soulmate relationships, or those really like intense relationships that teach you a lot. They're also referred to as like karmic partners, but it's a different level of a relationship when you're in it. And usually those are really challenging, and you have to overcome, you know, some major struggles, and maybe you don't overcome those struggles. Maybe that's what breaks you up or whatever. And that's, you know, what you reflect on after the fact. But yeah, so tikkun relationships are work. Then from there, when you graduate, soulmate level relationship is when you're both like parallel to each other. You're equals. You're standing shoulder to shoulder. You've both done like the same amount of work. You have a certain level of awareness that you can attempt to have a relationship, and you can have some awareness of your patterns and your tendencies, and you're ready to start rising above those. And that other person is also, and you have you have common goals and vision together, but the relationship is like one that is equally yoked, and you are better together, not in a codependent way, but you enhance one another, meaning each one of you is like a solid individual whole coming together. And it's not that you're trying to fill a void, like, oh, I'm missing something from my life, so I need a partner. It's like you're interdependent. You're okay. You're happy enough on your own. And a partner is going to enhance your life. It's not going to be something that you need to get by. So yes, the soulmate relationship is when all that's kind of in place, and then your union actually like spills out into like goodness, and it actually positively affects the world around you, because you have like a common purpose together, and you have work to do that's not just with each other, but it's actually like you can make the world a better place. Like you have an idea that you both want to put out in the world, or even just that you're such a great couple that everyone in the community loves to gather around, and you know, maybe you're the ones that throw the parties and keep everyone, you know, give everyone community together, right? So something about a soulmate level relationship has a positive effect, not only on the people in it, but like on the environment around them as well. So get clear on what you want so that it comes to you now. That was in our romance reading recently. So definitely, if you haven't, you know, maybe you want to make the list of your non-negotiables and your deal breakers and things like that, and start really putting out into the universe what you are ready for and what you're looking to call in. And, you know, could be circling the runway. Who knows? Okay, what else do we need to know? Ooh, we get love and money this week? Are all of our dreams coming true? Is my YouTube channel finally going viral? I would be happy with just a surge in followers. Follow me, follow this channel, subscribe, it'd be amazing. You're being helped. Wonderful. Thank you for subscribing. While you're helping, you can go on and like the video. If you hate it by the end, you can take the like back. But I bet you won't. And comment, share. Any action that you take on these videos actually helps make the world a better place, because it gets the video in the algorithm, and then it becomes a suggestion to other people so that they can randomly, connect with the title or the image or whatever, and then they can, get something from the message. So you just loafing around watching videos, you can actually make the world, you can save the world just by liking this video. You're being helped. Heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see results yet. Can you feel it? I can big time. I feel a little hyper right now, to be honest. But there's this feeling to me of building tension, but like the positive kind. Like something like when the creator condensed and burst through into this reality as the light. That's what I feel. I feel like something is pushing up against the edge of reality right now, and something is about to come through. Something good. And I wonder if you can feel that as well. Because, if you have been here for a minute, a lot of you have been telling me and keeping me updated on, you've been like gung-ho on Rosh Hashanah. We've been like, yeah, we're getting this new soul. It's going to be awesome. We're laying the infrastructures. We're getting through these challenges on a daily basis. And we are bringing in the light for the new year to come. And so it may not seem like anything's happening for, yet. But I just really have a feeling that eclipse season is going to bring about a lot of opportunity and change. And then maybe even following that, like maybe a bunch of change happens during eclipse season, and then like opportunities come in after or during. But I just feel like there's something in the air, and there's more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. And I feel like I've even had like a little bit of like these hints of good fortune this week during Sukkot, even though there has been challenge. Because it's like, when you get really serious about Rosh Hashanah, you realize like, oh, I'm going up again before the heavenly courts. And everything that I've done this year is like on the scale. And you wonder like how it's all going to weigh out in the end. Now, I will show you this. My scales, I evened them out when Rosh Hashanah started, so that they would be even during the ritual. And I was like watching to see like, am I tipping the scales at all? Like for the side of like mercy or judgment? And I was a little nervous because they weren't really moving for a while, and I was almost scared they were going on the side of judgment. I was like, no. But actually they ended up tipping way, way over in the side of mercy. So I was like, I'm going to take this as a good omen. And then after that, like after Yom Kippur, like little by little, like nice little universal winks have been coming through this week. So I'm feeling this for us big time. And you know what? I think it should be noted too that, because I was just thinking about a mistake that I made tonight. I was frustrated and like just, and I popped off in the mouth. I was like running my mouth about something, and I shouldn't have, but like, just sometimes you just can't help yourself. And I got home and I was like, man, I was really, really worried about it. And I was starting to beat myself up about it. I was like, man, after all these weeks, like I've been trying to be doing really good. I'm not perfect. But then I reminded myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's not about doing this perfectly. It's about the amount of effort that you put in and how much you care, and where your consciousness is at, and where your heart is at. So we don't have to be perfect. Just the smallest amount of effort goes a long way. So if you have, had mistakes or fallen during these last couple of weeks, don't get down on yourself. In fact, it's even better, because it's during those moments where we actually have a chance to reveal more light. Not if we do it on purpose. We can't get ourselves in a bunch of trouble just to see if we can like reveal more light. But when we bounce back from a mistake, and we learn from that mistake, and it galvanizes us on a certain level where we're like, yeah, I can see that I'm doing that. And now that I'm more aware of it and I can feel how it feels when I'm doing it and it doesn't feel good. And actually it makes me feel like kind of a dread, afterwards. Then you're like, oh, that's not as satisfying anymore to pop off at the mouth about something. You're like, oh, actually, I would have been better off to just save my energy. So yeah, that actually helps you be more aware of the pattern and break it. But it's like you got to do something with that that's constructive and positive. And definitely don't shame yourself or get like too down on yourself, because that is actually when the devil gets you twice. The devil will trick you up to run your mouth or make the mistake or whatever. But the female devil, the female Satan, will come back and make you feel like shit. And then she gets double the points. So don't let the devil get you twice. If you make a mistake, try to make it right. Try to change. But don't give up. Don't despair. Don't think that your whole year is blown. Just bounce back. Okay. And also, be very hopeful. We're being helped. Heaven is helping us. Keep saying your prayers. Say them out loud. That makes them extra powerful. But yeah, heaven is helping us, and I can feel it. I feel like good things are going to come soon. Okay, let's get another card. What is this? Ready, set, go. Oh my gosh, now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. Ooh. I hope we're embracing this heart's desire, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but right now, like with all of this energy building, with all of this like fresh soul energy, right now is the perfect time to, even if you're tired, double down, put in all the effort that you can towards the positive changes that you want to make, the positive transformation, toward trying to make your dreams come true. I can tell you I am so tired now. I've been trying to pick up extra shifts at work to make up for when we were slow in the summer. The high holidays are very demanding. During the rituals themselves, they're like 12 hours a day where you're like on your feet and you're like jumping up and down, trying to like jump up into the upper realms. And then you're like scanning like the Hebrew, but then you're also like trying to like say the Hebrew words. And it's like, they're hard to say, especially if you're going really fast and you're not used to reading Hebrew, because then it's like, it's not left to right, it's right to left. So you're reading backwards in another language, trying to say it out loud, trying to like follow along the melodies that everyone is just randomly already knows. And you're just like, I don't know, no one knows this song. and then you're also trying to read like the English translation. So at least it's like, there's some context. It's like, get down on the floor, put your forehead down. No, not the women. I'm like, why? I want the extra cleansing. It's very exhausting. So that's like 12 hours a day. And then there's all the personal challenges that come along in between those times to like get your soul really ripped open for the event itself. So that's exhausting. And then there's just been lots of other things going on up in the air. And then I'm also trying to book readings, and there are people that have reached out for me about readings I haven't even got back to yet. So if you're watching this video, it's like, I want to do your reading. Sorry. I've been, yesterday I was sweeping my kitchen at like 1 a.m, just like it needed to be done, but that's the only time that I had to do it. So even though you're tired, like double down. This is the moment where you're building the vessel. Oh my God, you guys, remember when I did the 2023 monthly predictions for the year? There's that whole playlist. You can watch there. It's like a monthly reading. And I haven't got to go back and watch them I wish that I had. I just vaguely remember each month's theme from doing the readings. And I never got to do November and December. So maybe I'll be able to finish those. But I do remember that October, like the theme for the year, I remember saying by October that like we have been in creation phase 3 for like all year. And October is finally when we're starting to shift into possibilities of creation phase 4. The phases of creation, there's 4 phases of creation in Kabbalah through the hermeneutic lens of Kabbalah. There's creation phase 1, where that's like the spark of an idea. And you have a passive desire, but you haven't necessarily started like really putting in the effort. This is like when you're excited about having an idea and you're like telling everybody about it, and you're getting all your energy and all the light from like just talking about it, but you haven't really done anything yet. Creation phase 2, and that's called a passive desire. Creation phase 2 enacts your active desire. And an active desire is when you start putting in the effort and you're burning the wick at both ends and you're burning the midnight oil. And it's like you're in your honeymoon phase with the project. It's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I love doing this. Like I could just sit here all day and edit photos or whatever it is that you're doing, right? Or I'm really determined to like change my diet. And at first you're like, this is great. But then after a while you're like, I miss ice cream. So creation phase 2, active desire. It's not a mature passion though, right? Because it's still easy. It's still like you're in the honeymoon phase. So it's still fresh. It's still exciting. Like think of a road trip, right? Like that's going to be like across like say the desert, but like it's like you go through these stretches of desert where there's not any rock formations. And so like your, creation phase 2 is like, yeah, playlist is going, like we're all hanging out the window, like spring break, what's up, what up, motherfucker? And then you get to creation phase 3. You are so far from the beginning. There's no end in sight. The initial excitement and zest has worn off. You're tired and you're like, I haven't really seen any results. I have put in so much effort. I took a big chance. I put it all on the table. I put it all on the line. I took the risk. I went against all odds. Like I told them how I felt, like, or, I spoke my truth. All of those things. I quit doing that. I cut that out of my life. I did the big thing. I did the big ask. I made the big sacrifice, or I made the bold move, and yet still crickets. And you're like, but I thought that if I did this, then this was the big ending, the happy ending in the movie where like everybody like picks the hero up and everybody's gathering around like, oh yeah, you won the game. And you're just like, no, it's just quiet. But we're being helped. There's more going on than meets the eye. The thing about creation phase 3 is that it's an initiation. The universe is asking you, have you built the vessel for this? And what that means is, have you built the strength and the capability to even sustain this once you get it? Or is it just gonna wash through your hands? Are you going to appreciate it? Or have you done all the work to get the thing? It's like if you are a CEO and you work your whole life and you have this company that has become your legacy, and it's something that you're so proud of because you put your blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice into this precious baby that is yours, and you're so proud of it. And the people that work for you, they're like your family. And this company is everything to you, and it's your soul and your pride, and it's your stamp on the world, and it's your legacy. And then you leave it, or like you pass it on to your child who's grown up rich and they didn't even want the company, and they show up late to work every day. They don't really appreciate it, and they kind of run the company to the ground, and everybody hates their guts. It's because they didn't build the vessel. Like this is an exaggerated, like really kind of like caricature, but that's exactly the example. Same with people who win the lottery. They get the money, they end up blowing it all, and it ruins their life half the time. And it's because they didn't build the vessel. The vessel is the effort and the investment that you're putting into something, and it's the strength of your desire to do it that keeps you putting in that effort, right? It's like when somebody says, oh, you want it? How bad do you want it then? How bad do you want it then? That's the vessel. The vessel is when you put effort into the soulmate relationship, and you put effort into yourself, creating healing so that you know how to have relationships, and so that you know what kind of partner that you want, and you are ready to be the partner that you would want to have. And you've built the vessel because you've put the effort in, right? But say you didn't do that, and it's like back in your old dating life in first mate land, where it's like you don't really put a lot of effort in, you don't put a lot of thought in about it, everything happens really fast, and then it all blows up, right? Because there was no process of earning. There was no process of earning trust or building like value in one another through investing and putting effort in. You know, there's no real deep intimacy there. And so it's easy for that bond to be broken. There's no vessel built. So the building of the vessel is effort, it's desire, it's the investment, it's your continued willingness and desire to keep making an effort to be able to maintain something. So a lot of times you'll be tested, and the universe is testing your mettle to see, are you going to settle? Are you going to go back on what you've been praying for, what you've been putting your effort in towards? Are you going to settle for less than you deserve? Are you going to fall for a counterfeit when it's not really quite what you're wanting, but you're like, well, it's mostly there, you know, kind of thing. So, and to be magnetic work, they call this the magic dark. So to be magnetic is a company started by a girl named Lacey Phillips. Like, she's a woman. And it's all about unblocking the subconscious beliefs that keep you from getting what you want in life, basically. And so by doing that, like, you do deep emotional work, like deep inner work. And then there are these like special meditations that go along with it, where you're literally like using like binaural beats and like guided specific hypnotic visualizations to rewrite your nervous system, essentially. And so as you're doing this work, and you're doing the deep inner work, and you're doing the healing work, and then you're also like coming at it from like the neurological point of view as well, and you're like healing your nervous system, you're becoming more magnetic to call in your manifestation. However, the universe, in her language as well, will test you with what's called a magic dark. And so the universe is testing, 1, your trust, and 2, your self-worth. Do you trust that the right thing is out there for you enough to say no to what's not quite right? And so during the magic dark, or right beforehand, you may be tested with some almost but not quites that you need to say no to. Nope, sorry, nope, sorry, nope, sorry. But then there may be nothing happening for a while. And so it may be tempting to like settle or give up or throw in the towel or resign yourself, or just, you know what, call it off. I'll just take that 9-to-5 job instead of trying to make this happen. And I mean, you may have to take that. There's bridge jobs, bridge relationships, expanders, right? That lead you from one thing to the next, right? But the point is that don't mistake a period of inactivity for like failure, right? Now, there's a difference between being in a rut and in a lull and in a magic dark. And the rut is when you haven't really been putting the effort in, and you haven't really been passing any tests, and you're just not moving any energy around. And so then there's no magnetism going on. And so then that is not the same. That's just a rut. But a magic dark is when you've definitely been doing things, and you've been passing tests, and you've been really doing the inner work and the transformation. And you're almost like, I mean, is this a joke? Like, why isn't anything happening? Like, it's a sign you're close. So keep your trust muscle going, and also follow inner like prompts to take action on things. It's like when it's divine guidance, when you know you're like, oh, I have this like strangest little like quiet little hunch that I need to go do this thing, and I just have this feeling. Follow those, right? The worst that can happen is like kind of nothing. Like, oh, I tried this thing and it didn't work out. But it could mean that the universe has, is working behind the scenes to help bring you your manifestation through that little hunch. So ready, set, go. Now is the perfect time to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. So creation phase 3, when you're being tested, when it feels like nothing's happening, go harder. Keep putting the effort in. Don't give up. Keep showing the universe that you're serious. All right, one last card. What do we need to know for this week that will help us with our manifestations? Okay, that's too many. I just want one. Okay, there's two. Worthiness. Okay. Self-worth, knowing that it's testing your self-worth. Do you deserve this? During our last full moon and Aries workshop, go watch it. It is a great workshop regardless of the timing of the full moon. All of my lunation workshops are great. Not to toot my own horn or ring my own bell, but they are like, it's great advice for our ongoing work, our ongoing healing work. And, we go really deep and we talk a lot about the process and what's going on. But it's something that is going to be helpful for the next 2 weeks, but also in your ongoing story. But a big theme was just that we needed to work on a sense of deservingness, that it would be the sense of deservingness that's really holding us up at this point. So try to heal that sense of worthiness and self-worth. Know that you deserve to receive good in all ways. Again, don't get down on yourself if you fucked up recently, and don't think that you don't deserve, the light for the year, the light of the Creator. We always are worthy of God's love. He never takes that away. He, she, they, abstract light never stops sharing. The light is always in a perpetual state of sharing. It's like my lamp back there. It's like, instead of going up like that, though, it's always coming down. The light is always sharing. It's just that we as a vessel will shut ourselves off to that light because we fall out of affinity with the light. In order to receive that light, it's like the more that we become like the light, the more we align with the light, right? Think about the resonance of vibrational waves, right? And if we are not in resonance with the light and we're not in affinity with the light, then the light, we cut ourselves off from that. But the light itself is always a force of sharing, of unconditional love, of perpetual, eternal giving and creation and nurturing. Yes. Yes. Your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. So again, trusting the universe, having that sense of self-worth and following your little pings, following that divine guidance that's leading you in the direction, right? That's calling you. It's so funny that we talked about this and then like that's the cards that come out. It's like, no more to say here, folks. So soulmate relationship, new romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. So be on the lookout for someone who you're equally yoked with. They could be right around the corner. In the meantime, just get really into your own life at the moment. Like, don't close yourself off from people and isolate. Not like that. Like self-centered selfishness. Like, go be a total narcissist, just be a monster. But try to find the joy in your life and all the things that you appreciate about it. And, don't disconnect from the things that light you up and bring you joy and bring you like intellectual stimulation and warm your heart, because that's the feelings that you want to be in order to attract what you want to call in. And yeah, follow those gut instincts that are leading you to like these little, actions, or going to this place, or, maybe you have a hunch about a certain person. Trust those and listen to that, because things, I'm telling you, energy's moving. I can feel it. Oh, that's also something I wanted to mention. There's this really great thing that this rabbi that I like, he's a kosher Kabbalist. He lives in Israel, but he is from New Zealand. And he was doing a Q&A with some people in his group before Rosh Hashanah or before Yom Kippur, sometime during Teshuvah. And this woman was really distressed that she was bringing up certain prophets in the Bible about how they did the right thing and they made the sacrifice. And then after that, like, something awful happened. And particularly, she was like, Abraham, like, went, like, he actually was going to sacrifice Isaac, and he was probably like dying inside and like gut wrenched because this was his like pride and joy, his child. And like, how could he, like, he could never, like, it's not like he wanted to do this, but he was going to do it. And like, God sent him the ram, and so he didn't have to do it. And he was like, no, you're off the hook. It was just a test. You passed the test. You're awesome. Abraham, you're awesome. Really. Just like aces. And then she was like, but then his wife died, like right after that. And then she talked about, I can never remember whether it's Jacob or Joseph, but I think Jacob's son, Jacob was the father and Joseph was the son, or I can't remember. But one of the prophets, like, his son was taken away from him and was gone for many years, and he thought he was dead. And then the son, during this time of separation, it's like he was tempted by like someone's wife, but then he like didn't do the wife. I'm not going to do your wife. But then like after that, he was sold into slavery for 12 years by his brothers. And then like she brought that up too. She was like, so like we're always trying to do the best we can and make the right decisions. But then like sometimes the creator will ask you to like sacrifice your son, but then it's okay. You don't have to do that. Thank you for doing what I told you to. Now your wife's dead. And she's like, I don't understand. And he's like, yeah, life is challenging. People die. Like, yes, you meet one challenge and then there's going to be another one that follows. Like, that's the nature of living on earth. He was like, these Siddiqs, which are like the big sages, the big prophets, he was like, they had really intense lives. They didn't just have one challenge and then they overcame it and then they got to like be on easy street for the rest of their lives. He was like, both of those people you're talking about, he's like had decades and decades of prosperity and joy, bookending, these situations. He's like, we all have challenges. But the thing about these Siddiqs, or, in the modern times, we know of people called light workers. Like when the world pretty much stays in balance, right? There's darkness, there's light, there's good, there's bad, but it's always fairly the same. Every now and then there's going to be like some surge of evil, like the Holocaust, where it has to purge out all of that bad energy out of the world, and like the good rise up and like overcome. And the intensity of that negativity actually allows the good side, when they fight against that negativity, it opens up all this extra light. Think about the law of conservation of matter. Think about quantum physics when it says that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. That's the same with spiritual energy. It's all energy. So it's all energetic matter. And so all that darkness and that evil, or even just low level, not as good, like low level, like shittiness, all of that is just continuously perpetuated through the cosmos until someone transforms their own darkness. Like, we're all assigned like this bag of like shit that we have to transform, this bag of lead in this life that is like, okay, this is your assignment. This is kind of your rent for being alive. This is your purpose. Turn this into gold. This is your duty. This is your contribution to existence. And so the more that we're able to transform, the more that we're actually breaking new territory. We're tipping the scales. We're having an effect on the cosmos that like the normal average, like in and out day to day doesn't do. So when you go through those deepest challenges in life, especially if you're a person who kind of keeps getting hit with like thing after thing after thing, and it's not necessarily because you're perpetuating your own chaos, right? It's not because you're out there like just being that way, like doing things that clearly are going to equal negative consequences. Say you're trying to do the best you can, and still life is like pounding you and pulverizing you, and every time you come up, it like knocks you back down again. There's probably a reason for that, there's probably some kind of calling on your life that has required you to get beat all to hell and then get back up again, and get beat all to hell and get back up again. And every time you get up stronger and more determined and more determined. And every time you do that, every time you get up stronger and more determined, rather than resigning yourself to despair and giving up, you're changing the universe. You are changing the cosmos. You are changing energy that would have perpetuated in darkness forever. And so it's something about that was so inspiring to me. It made so much sense because I too have kind of that experience of just feeling like a salmon upstream. Nothing has ever like been just simple or easy, or it's always been like the maximum effort has to be made for like the tiniest little bit of like juice to come out of the stone. So if you feel that way, don't get down on yourself. Actually know that you're doing that you're capable of doing important work by healing, by transforming, because you're doing alchemy and you're pushing the edge, right? You're tipping the scales. Whereas, when things are just status quo, nothing's changing. You're not really moving the scales. You're not transforming lead to gold. You're just maintaining, and it gets stagnant. So do with that what you will, guys, but we are still in Sukkot. So the energy that we are just finishing up today, when I'm filming this, it's like after midnight on Tuesday. So Tuesday was Hod. That is the organizational sort of communication. It's connected with Mercury, maths and sciences. It's like dispassionate analysis where you can like see through like the emotion and like see the reality of a situation. It's the power of discrimination where you can separate this from that. Like this is one situation and this is a complete another situation, that kind of thing, that kind of discrimination, not negative discrimination. Now, tomorrow we are in the energy of Yesod. Yesod is the storehouse. Ironically enough, the guy, Jacob or Joseph, can never remember which one, but he was actually put in charge of the storehouse of all of Egypt, and he was the one in charge of distributing sustenance to the kingdom. So Joseph or Jacob, I can't remember which one, they are associated with Yesod. Yesod is the sacral chakra down here. It's the womb. It's the male and female sexual organs where we create life. And so this is also the last stop on the tree. Where's Chart? It's on my journal over here, my planner. Okay. So during Sukkot, it's like the light from the Creator is coming in from the from the realms of unmanifest, and it's coming down through the 10 levels, 10 dimensions of reality. And these are also the governing forces of reality, and they are the 10 dimensions of consciousness. And this is like the map of our soul, but it's also the map of like reality as well. So basically, during Yom Kippur, we got our new soul. And during Sukkot, we are basically, Rosh Hashanah, the soul left the body and the new soul has come down. And this is like, we're being challenged because it's like we're laying the infrastructure for the new soul so that we can be a productive channel for the light. The light of the Creator comes down and it goes through these different dimensions. And it bounces around until it gets here to Yesod, which is on the other side of our physical reality. This is the astral realm. This is like where the dreamscape, the dream world is, where like you are in your nightly dreams. This is where the imagination is. This is where creativity sort of starts forming. But this is the last stop for the light before it comes down into Malchut, which this is the kingdom. This is physical reality. So tomorrow, this is our capacity to receive. So abundance, sustenance, sexual shame and guilt is an issue here. Our sexual power and energy is associated with this realm. Psychic powers, being able to communicate on a soul level, astral realm stuff. All of these are associated with this realm tomorrow. I'm trying to think what else. Creativity, fertility, but yeah, abundance and sustenance for sure, and the ability to receive. Yesod is also associated with the moon, which is the divine feminine, but it's a reflection of the sun, the light of the sun. And so we can't really look at the sun directly. It would be too much. It would burn us, right? So we have to reflect. We have to look at that reflected light, right? So it's about reflecting and insight as well. But yeah, I've gone on far enough. Oh my God, it's 45 minutes again. I did not want to do this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. Let me know, like, do you guys like the long videos? Do you hate them? I mean, when I like a person that makes videos, I don't really care if they're long or not. Like, I like to watch them, and sometimes I'll watch them or listen to them in the background when I'm doing something, or I'll watch part of them and go back. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be less long-winded, but there's a lot to say all the time. All right, y'all. Ciao.